This is day 4. We're back and we're trying out some makeup. We're going to go from this to this. So subtle, so nude. Okay, so grab a cup of whatever you feel like drinking. I already got through my coffee, but yeah, settle in, take a break. Today I'm going to do a battle between 2 tinted sunscreens, SPFs, sunscreen SPFs. Disregard that. That's a guest's bag. This is life. But anyway, yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to be applying the OG concealer again. I'm doing a wear test today for the scorecard, and links to everything that I talk about will be below. I have scorecards now for both of these. This is brand new and updated. The last time I updated the Tower 28 was 2021. So that's going to be back on the website for you as well if you want to check it out. I've already prepped the skin. We've already prepped. We've done moisturizer, things like that. I'm going to do RMS on this side. I'm going to do Tower 28 on this side and walk about my life all day with different things on my face because the comparison is the way to know. The first key deal breakers in these reviews, well, when you're buying a product like this, because it can be really overwhelming, I totally understand that, is the price, the shade range, and the ingredients. Those are the things that if one of those don't work for you, it's not going to be for you. But after that, things can get boiled down to very specific things like the wear test or the coverage level, the finish, things, you know the drill. So I'm going to apply the RMS. There's something I just want to say at the jump of the video. I'm in direct sunlight. I tend to use something underneath of that that's a higher percentage or a really strong SPF 50 PA rated option if I'm going to be in direct sun. That's just the truth. I wear these as coverage products first. If I really need the sun protection, I use another product for sun protection. And I can talk about those in another video if you want to. So this is the RMS. I gave this a big old pan a while back because I was demonstrating the 2 finger lengths of product that you have to wear to get the right sun protection. I really just think this wasn't marketed appropriately. It's the sun cover up and it talks about sun protection. And it's, if you had to put on that full amount, it was so dewy and weird looking that it just wasn't going to work for that. So really back to what I was saying, this for me is more of a coverage product. RMS is SPF 50. It is $49. It comes in a glass container. There are 13 shades available for this, and it has 12% zinc going on. Great coverage, as you can see. Definitely a glow. This formula is vegan. The differentiators here is this is more of the skincare first or skincare hybrid formula. The Tower 28, it's more about being good for sensitive skin types. It is gluten-free. So if you need something that's gluten-free, you're going to want to lean towards the Tower 28. If not, then check out the RMS. There's peptides in here. No silicones in here. So those are a couple of the key differentiators. And then let's apply the Tower 28 on the other side. 17 shades available. It went up over the course of a few years, which happens. 12.6% zinc. So very similar on that. The price is different. This is only going to run you $32. They are both 1 fluid ounce. However, this is an SPF 30 product. Silicone free and gluten free. This, when I first tried it, this is in shade Mulholland. It's a little bit dark on me. Have you tried either of these, by the way? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know your opinion. And your skin type really helps for context. So this, when I first tried it, looked chalky. The chalky finish showed up on my skin. Now, it couldn't be more opposite from that. It is not at all chalky. If anything, it's the opposite of chalky. It's very dewy for me. And you'll see both of these give a glow. So I would want to set both of them. But just to see the side-by-side comparison, obviously the RMS is probably a bit of a better shade match for me. But the coverage on both is really strong. I feel like the Tower 28 is a bit lighter weight for me as well. And I haven't had any issues with irritation. You guys know that I've had just an issue in life with irritation on my skin recently. So it's something I'm watching. The RMS does tend to give after a few days. I don't know what it is in there. That doesn't mean it's going to happen for you, but I don't wear it all the time because sometimes I get that tight feeling. That's a bad red flag for me. Again, that's just my skin, but there's a lot of interesting ingredients then in there, so check it out. But you're getting glow on both sides. You're getting pretty similar coverage on both sides. You're also getting really easy application on both sides. So I'm going down my scorecard criteria for both of these to do the comparison. I feel like the Tower 28 is a little bit dewier than the RMS. The RMS is more of a subdued glow, and the Tower 28 is a little bit more of a out there dewy glow. But for the touch test, the RMS feels a little bit more moisturizing, which could be an advantage or disadvantage depending on what your skin wants. And finish wise, see, these are lining up pretty similarly. It goes back to those 3 big deal breakers in the beginning: the price, the shade range, and the ingredients, of course. But they're lining up very similarly right now, which is why I wanted to battle them against each other. So I'm going to leave them like this, and then I will bring a powder into the mix just to see how they play with the powders. And I'm going to apply the OG on top. I can tell you in advance, the wear test was a little bit, it used to actually not be really positive for the Tower 28, but it's gotten better. I can start feeling the RMS right now. I'm a little nervous about that. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, so the Tower 28 feathered on me a little bit back in the day. That goes back to like, you know, just the brush, the application method makes or breaks it. And then I'm not seeing that now. I don't see that like feathering right around here. Skin also tends to change over the course of a few years, so that could be it as well. I really do like how easy this OG is to apply. This is the one that's in shade Arden or Alder. Sorry, I keep saying Arden in my brain and it's not the right. I had to stop for a second and feed the cat because she was hungry. And whenever she's hungry, we drop everything and we feed the cat. That's what we do now. That's who I am. Okay, let's just take the rest of the concealer. I'm not going back in for a lot more because we don't want creasing. Mind you, it's already creasing under the eye. By the way, I'm testing my microphone. Something weird is happening with the mic. Figuring it out. I'm going to call tech support. I'm tech support, so it's great. So that is the OG under the eye. I do like setting it. It does set really nicely with powder. I'm going to set that with the RMS Unpowder. One of my go-to faves, has been for a really long time. It's just like the thinner powders always work so well for me. This is a little bit of a rushed video because I'm heading over to a brunch, which is going to be one of my 3 things at the end of the video. But anyway, this is going to give you a quick, easy, everyday makeup option. Granted, I'm not going to be putting 2 separate products on my face to test them every day. That would be weird. So I'm going to use the Jones Road Yellow Face Powder. I love it. I still love it. I'm still using it. I don't find it to dry my skin out. I don't find it to look cakey. So let's apply this over one side, and then we'll apply it over the RMS on my left forehead. I just want to get a close-up here and see what it's actually doing for finish. This is one of those differentiators. It's going to be different for different skin types. So I think the RMS is taking to the powder a little bit better than the Tower 28. A little bit better. There's a little bit, like when you go and you look close up at your skin and you can start to see the separation. Give it a minute. It needs to settle into the skin. I'm doing this a little quickly, so taking that into account. But both are hitting all the marks down the scorecard, right? So you're watching it live, and then I'm going to do a wear test at the end of the day that I will film for you and show you, as well as showing you what these look like in natural light, because studio lighting, natural light is the true test, right? All right, a little natural light so you can see the difference between the two. We have RMS, Tower 28. I gotta say, these get ready with me / everyday kind of videos are certainly kicking me out of a rut. It's definitely a challenge. So it's like my 45-day challenge to myself. And consistency is, it's just kind of tough. I don't know why for me, but I have been hearing in the comments, you know, when I was talking about what's going right, I'm hearing from people saying they've had weight loss consistently rowing. They've started a garden that they've consistently taken care of. And it's a lot of sticking with something. And when you start it, it's so exciting. But that middle part where you kind of feel like you're doing it and you're not really sure if anything's going in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like you get in that liminal phase where you're still going to keep going and you want some sort of reward, but the reward only comes after time. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the book Chop Wood, Carry Water. I haven't finished it, but I did really like it. Another consistency thing. This is the Mob Beauty Cream Shadow. I'm really liking it. It's just about showing up, having discipline, doing the same thing day in and day out, and letting that be enough. It's something that I have struggled with, but I think this 45-day challenge for my 45th year on the planet is at least going to show me something. And then, when you stick with something, you get that confidence boost and you feel like, okay, I can do the next thing. It compounds and builds. It's easy to talk about, but when my dad always is like, when the rubber meets the road, that's when it really matters. And it's tricky. The one thing I've stuck with is this channel. There have been moments when I've thought of letting it go and I can't, like I couldn't. And I think that's how even through those kind of trickier times with the other things you're trying to stick with, that's not a linear path. You can go, it can get frustrating, you can take a step back, but you keep getting back on the horse. There's so many sayings coming out today. So many like little isms, you know what I mean? Ilia Limitless Lash. I like to give mascara after I open it at least a week before I really start evaluating because it changes over the course of that week, 2 weeks. Formula gets some oxygen, I think, in there, and then it starts doing some things. I'm just doing like a light layer. Now, I just want to do a quick dewiness check. It's so similar. It is so similar, these two products, in terms of performance, not what's inside, and but they're performing really well. The wear test, I think, will be interesting side by side and in natural light. I think that's going to be helpful because I know when you go to the website and you start looking, or you look at the YouTube videos, or you're just shopping somewhere and you're like, why would I buy this tinted moisturizer over another one? I have single dedicated reviews for not everything, but for a lot of things. But then you're going to look at the other review and the other review. And my mind is kind of like, how can we simplify this and make it easier? I'm always trying to make it easier for you, for myself. And that's one of the ways, like side by side comparisons. Can't mess that up too much. It's really kind of the great determining factor. I'm going to apply a little bit of the lip. What is this called? Cool Gloss from Jones Road. I have this in Nudist. It comes out clear sometimes. Kind of gotta shake it up. I like it. I don't love it. It's minty. I love mint, but if I put too much on, it does the back of the throat thing where you're like, I really like the shades. I like all of it. It's the consistency for me. So just a little bit works, but I do like the fact that it's more of like a lip oil gloss. So it doesn't feel tacky. It feels great and very lightweight on. You have to like peppermint though. If you don't like peppermint, you're not going to like it. Another goodie from Jones Road. She's Hit Pan. I hit pan a little too fast on this. That's the setback for this, but this is their bronzer. I have it in the lightest shade. All right. I wanted to talk to you about 111. So I was thinking about it. It's for those of us who are into numbers. I think this all started back when I was getting ready to move to San Francisco from Dallas. And I was really into the manifesting, I was at a point in my life where I was really hating my job and manifesting energy. I was doing a lot of that stuff, a lot of the woo-woo, but I was doing it creatively. So I was making vision boards. I made a PowerPoint and I put very specific things on the PowerPoint. There was the car. These are all external. Car, relationship. Obviously, I wanted to go to San Francisco. I was working in merchandising at the time for Neiman Marcus. And I wanted to do anything that wasn't merchandising, but a lot of my role was merchandising online women's fashion. And so like creating stories, packaging up the products to kind of tell a story, shopping list, a travel, all that stuff you see in the magazines. I really loved it, like a color story, and you just sort of curate and you edit. So all of this is to say that I had a friend at the time and I was talking to her. I had just started my website, which looked awful. I was not doing YouTube at the time. This was around 2010. And I had created a vision board kind of PowerPoint deck for myself. I also made a playlist because music helps me feel what it's going to feel like. And feeling is the most important part, in my opinion. Because I said, I don't want e-com. She goes, why don't you try and be an editor? And I was like, I don't think I could be an editor. I have no background in publishing. So I'm looking around and I was getting emails from this company called Pop Sugar. And I'm like, that would be kind of cool to be a shopping editor, but they didn't have the role. However, their building was on 111 Sutter Street. And something about that was kind of the triggering event that had me looking at 111. I put that on my vision board or my PowerPoint, basically my goals, and I made it really huge. So I would look at this and I would feel it and I would see shopping editor, 111 Sutter Street, San Francisco. Here's my commute. Here's where I live. Here's this, here's that. That went on for about 2.5 years. I started taking yoga classes, which is for me, meditation and movement. I wasn't doing like super duper power yoga, but something happened when I started taking the yoga classes. I joined a workshop and it was kind of like this. You just sort of get out of your mind and into something else. You let go, you let things kind of like the structure that was, you let it kind of fade away. And I was going to yoga almost every day and I was working with these people and we talked a lot about our dreams. So it was just adding to that PowerPoint. Cut to, I want to say maybe like 2 years later, I left my job. That was one of my goals that I had written out when I was in the yoga studio. Left my job, and that's a short way of saying it. This was a long time coming and it was crazy emotional. And I had started my own business helping people figure out their closets. I had a fashion background. I was going into people's closets for 1 hour. They were all my yoga friends. And I'm like, in 1 hour, I will give you 30 new ways to wear things. So it was like my golden hour. So I could go in, look at what they had, and then create a month's worth of outfits for them that they hadn't worn before. I found it to be very rewarding, super tiring. And this whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, I have to make money. And I'm looking at 111 Sutter and I'm trying to go like, how am I going to get from Dallas to San Francisco? It's like crazy expensive. I was paying $1 a square foot in Dallas. Okay. San Francisco, not $1 a square foot. We know this. I started going on trips because I met somebody there. The flights from Dallas to San Francisco were like $150 on Virgin. Best flying experience of my life. I was going at least twice a month at this point. So I'm reiterating, I'm reinforcing, and it really wasn't that expensive. So I felt like, okay, this is a good expense. Maybe I can meet people there. I'm still thinking 111 Sutter. I'm still thinking Pop Sugar, and I don't know how this is going to happen. This is from Sweet Beauty. Their blushes are beautiful. This is called Cheeky. It's their Air Blush Cream Blush. Finally, I'm in somebody's closet. I get a call from my brother's close friend, and he goes, I know that you've been wanting to go to San Francisco. I just got a job there. Do you want to live there with me? We were not close, but I know this guy. Like, we're buddies. That was my ticket. A month after that call, I had sold everything I owned, pretty much. I didn't have the cat. I packed it all up, and I shipped my car, and I was in San Francisco a month later. And let me tell you, those first 6 or 7 months, super bumpy, very hard, not at all what I expected. There were wonderful moments, the geography of the place. I'm still in love with San Francisco. Like, I'll just say it. I love it. I love the West Coast. I think I'm going to have to be back there. I just feel more like myself over there, but I respect the process. You know, there's advantages and you have to respect where you're at. Like, I believe I'm where I'm at for a reason. 6 months later, sorry, this is a long story now, but it was one of the best ones of my life. I'm sending out these emails because my savings are going down fast. San Francisco spending. There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of, I made a really big mistake. There was a lot. There were floods in my apartment. It was like everything was coming at me to be like, are you sure you want this? Are you really sure you want this? And I was starting to send out because I was doing my closet business, but I left all my clients behind. So I go, okay, I have to apply for a job. I start looking at Pop Sugar. I started looking everywhere. I went on all these coffee talk dates things just to try and make connections. I was on all these email lists. They'd send you the job and then you would read the listing and you'd apply. One day I saw something come through and it was like, new position, never before, shopping editor, Pop Sugar, 111 Sutter Street. I applied. It was the easiest interview I've ever had in my entire life. I walked out of there. I started walking back to where I was living. It was the commute that I had on my map. It was a map. It was mapped out. So I get home, I get the job. They made a shopping editor job. It was because of some other things that were going on with the company. So after that, I go visit my grandparents. My grandfather was alive at the time. And I told him, I said, it's just amazing, 111. I've been really focusing on 111. And now I see number sequences everywhere. 1111, 222, 333. I've looked up the angel numbers. It's just like a fun game. I'm not living and dying by this stuff. Putting the blush on my lip. It's kind of weird. He goes, that's so funny you say that. All of the buildings that I've worked in have been 111. My aunt comes into the room and she goes, oh yeah, 1111. All 1111 has always been my number. And when my grandfather was saying to me, he's worked at all these buildings with 111 on them, he goes, oh, it's been my lucky number for my whole life. And I'm just like, what? And then I look at the PowerPoint and I see the pictures, and not everything has happened exactly to plan. Not everything on there is exact. But if you were to see the life I was living and the PowerPoint, you'd be like, holy crap, she manifested that stuff. That doesn't mean it was perfect, because it really wasn't. I got exactly what I wanted to get on paper, but in real life it was very different, because it stopped being about the feeling and it was more about the external. That's my learning now at 45. That's one of my learnings. So I'm really focusing on the feeling and not trying to get tied to the structure of like, it has to be here and it has to be like this. It has to be this car and it has to be this house. No, the feeling that I missed the first time around, like I followed the number and it came through for me. But the feeling I missed the first time around was excited, fulfilled, peaceful. I talk a lot about that in these. So anyway, that's my 111. So this is the completed look. Really like it. Did not expect to like it this much. All right, here's the end of the day. You're looking at the Tower 28 here. There's definitely more of a glowy finish. That's the main differentiator. The sun went down. And now you're going to look at the RMS. See a little bit more texture. I did just get out of the shower. A little less glow. I feel like the Tower 28 was the winner for me. But yeah, the scorecards are up. My 3 things at the end of these, I like to round them up. So 3 things that are going right. The first thing I have to say, I'm hearing from a handful of you about your 3 things. 1 thing, 2 things. You have no idea. Love. Those comments are so meaningful to me. I love this avenue of conversation, sometimes not just about concealers, not just about tinted moisturizers. So that to me is going right. The other thing that's going right is I live 5 minutes from my parents. It's something I've always wanted. They're still on the planet, so I get to have this time with them. And the last thing that's going right is I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've seen 111 in the past few days. So I'm buckling down again. I'm really kind of getting back into the flow of that energy, focusing on the feeling, and then I'm just going to kind of see what happens. So those are my 3 things. If you want to, you can share your 3 things. Please know that I'm sending you like all the good vibes today, all the high energy today, and like a virtual parasocial relationship hug is what you're getting from me, hopefully. And I do hope you had fun taking a break with me today. You learned something. Talk to me if you've tried any of the products or you want some information on any of these. I will see you right back here real soon. Until then, have a great rest of your day.